Welcome to How to Expat. My name is Sam, and today I want to give you another quick and dirty video about the current situation here in Colombia. We are in crazy times because, of course, one of the most asked questions we get is when will the airport open up again and when can people come into Colombia again. And on the other hand, we are in peak pandemic times where we had 13,000 new infections yesterday, which is quite a high number, and it's just a little bit weird that the politics right now are discussing between a 7-day quarantine because around 85% of intensive care beds in the hospitals are occupied. And on the other hand, the same politicians are discussing about, not the same politicians, but other politicians are discussing about if the airport, or that the airport is going to open up on the 1st of September, which is kind of weird. This is pretty kind of the contrary and doesn't really make sense in my mind, but at the end of the day I don't really care and I don't have a saying in that, so I only focus on what I can control. But I just want to give you guys a little update on what I think is going to happen, or what I think could happen on the 1st of September, because as it looks like right now the airport's really going to open up. The question is, of course, if it's just domestic flights or international flights. Also, an article that I read, and I don't really read a lot of articles and newspapers because I don't think it's pretty or very sane for your soul. But at the end of the day, what I read there is that most probably the domestic flights will return again on the 1st of September, but the international flights not yet. And another thing, I just spoke on a consultation yesterday with somebody that I wouldn't really think that it's gonna be that you're gonna have a good time in Colombia when you come in the first couple of days after the quarantine has been, or not the quarantine, but the travel restriction have been lifted. Because as far as I can see right now, even if the travel ban is lifted, that doesn't mean that the quarantine is lifted. So it could mean that you can come into Colombia, but that the only thing you can do is go out and grocery shop for 1 day out of the week, and the rest of the day or the rest of the week you have to stay at home, which is what we are currently doing at the moment. So that's not kind of the idea of a great vacation. Then the other thing is, of course, once you come in from maybe any country or a specific country that Colombia puts on a list, you might have to stay in quarantine. What was the case shortly before the travel ban has been done. So that was already happening around now 4 to 5 months ago. So that's surely an option. Another option is, of course, if you come and then go back to your home country, that you have to stay in quarantine there because they see that you come back from Colombia, and Colombia is now high on the list of all the countries that prohibit or restrict access to their countries. So let's say, I think, for example, Switzerland, people from Colombia cannot go in. I don't know how it is in the US. So that's another thing to consider. And the last thing to consider is, of course, that maybe you don't want to come into, or not come into a country that has low occupancy or high occupancy rates on the medical beds in the hospital, because you don't even have to get corona or any other kind of disease, but maybe just a traffic accident or whatnot. So yeah, then you might not get a bed, or who knows. So that's another thing to consider. And now the last thing to consider is also, if you, what did I want to say? Fuck. Of course, a lot of people will travel the first couple of weeks or even months when things open up again with the airports and all of that. So it might be quite a chaos, especially in the beginning. So what I would plan if I would be outside of Colombia and having the interest to come in is really take my time, see how things develop, and wouldn't plan anything 1 or even 2 months after let's say that the travel ban has been lifted. So that's how I see it currently. As soon as we get official notice of that the airport's gonna open up again and that international flights resume, of course I'm gonna post a video about that, so make sure to subscribe to not miss that. That was already it. Hope to see you in the next video.